Welcome, one and all, ladies and gentlemen, to this Saturday night Stone Cold Stunner featuring me, Maloney. You know me well. How's the mic sounding? Ooh, good, is it? So tonight I've got Ewan McGregor, or McKenna, sorry, Ewan McGregor's coming on, man. Fucking hell, that'll be a big one. Sorry, Ewan McKenna coming on to join me for a bit of a chat. Good old Ewan, something of a bit of a contrarian like myself. Not just a contrarian, just somebody who is kind of has an allergic reaction to the bullshit that we're fed. CM Fox and Johnny Sideways, two stalwarts of the truth. Good to see you, fellas, man. Good to see you. Hard to keep a good man down. Hey, that's right, CM. That's right, my brother, man. Johnny fucking Sideways up there in Tala, living the life like a mad cat up in the wilderness, up near Green Hills. That's where you can go and get yourself some nice mushies. Oh, mushies. Cheers, everybody. I got a nice big glassine of wine there, hey. Oh, tonight. What is that for the... Someone fought in here, says Lee Gibson. Ooh, it's rough tack, that is. Rough enough tack. Come out of a carton. Called Black Mountain. Bit of a Led Zeppelin vibe. Let me just see what the crack is. With we got WB 1990. Bernard Splendid. Pork chop sandwiches. Ooh, fancy that. Johnny Sideways. Any links for man for a few? Oh, heavy tackle. We can open up the floor to the discussione soon. Just want to see what the crack is with with you, and I've sent him the ting, the link. I've sent him the link. 1 second now. Usually the same old crack. Didn't do much prep for this as usual. You know how it goes. The first 5 to 10 minutes is usually fairly quiet. You know yourself. You know yourself. You want the beans, Maloney? Oh, beaning it up, man. Flicking the bean like Daniel O.D. How's the sound there? Does it sound okay? Any crack with the sound? No. Any snap, crackle, and pop? The three mascots from 80s to 90s. Rice Krispies. I was just saying to the kids the other day, cereals used to be good back in the day because you'd always get like a toy in them. Don't get that anymore. Probably some sort of health and safety bollocks. It was like, oh, a man ate a rubber once and died. Bit like the Bart Simpson episode where he found that weird jagged piece of metal in the crusty cereal. Leitrim Lover, how you doing, Horace? Yeah, brilliant. Please let me say hi to him. I'm a possible big fan. Oh, absolutely. Hey, absolutely. Absolutely. Side would say, oh, 100%. Hey, 100%. So today, yeah, I had as I was saying 2 weeks ago, self and Marcus Maha. All right, Marcus, mate. We were going to do that really. It was shaping up to be an incredible live stream, and it was just like we had Vatos Locos on. Things were fantastic, and YouTube pulled us off. Not literally pulled me off, but pulled the stream, so to speak. Tim Reedy, Weetos were class. Nonce scientist on the box aside. Yeah, Weetos weren't bad actually. They weren't too bad. They were all right. Do you remember the cinnamon golden grahams? Like they were just fucking ridiculous. It was just that came at the same time as Sunny Delight, which was I don't know what the fuck was in Sunny Delight, but apparently it was about 5% fruit juice. So I don't know what the hell the rest of it was, but as soon as it touched the lips, I couldn't stop drinking. It was like till it was gone. Bad shite, man. It was bad shite. I don't know if they still have it. Lovely scarf, says Darcy. Did you watch Russell Brand on Joe? I saw a bit of Russell Brand on Joe. Saw a little bit of it. It was a clip where I think they were just talking about Fauci lies and all that kind of. Well, it's funny, isn't it? After 3 years, the truth is finally starting to come out. But by the time the truth does come out, it's like no one wants to know. They just slip off quietly and and hooked on the stuff. Sonny G, says Paul Scanlon. Yeah, the old Sunny Delight, man. It was probably a lot better than anything Pfizer has produced. Say that. least you get a good deal out of it. Get a good touch. Danny O'Neill, Martin Mocara, how are you? Not too fucking bad. I'll see what the crack is with this mon here. This mon. Do you know any mon, do you? I'm on the bus. The next 30. No, that was 42. Oh, no worries. I'll hold the fort. And you the link. Okay, so he'll be about 20 minutes, I'd say. Not too fucking bad. You have Sunny D there. I never even knew Sunny Delight was still a thing. Let me just check this. Sunny Delight. Sunny D, they changed it to. It is actually. Oh, wait. Okay, so you basically got a place called sunnydelight.se, which is on the west coast of Sweden. I live with my husband and all of our dogs, puppies, males, bitches, contact. So it looks like they've taken the domain name of Sunny Delight and somehow turned it into a place to get dogs. You can still get Sunny D. Holy shit, man! I haven't seen that for years. Florida Refresco Sabor Multifrutats Naranja. Let's see Sunny Delight ingredients. What were the ingredients? I mean, God knows what they are in the States, but water, high fructose corn syrup, not great. 2% or less of the following: citric acid, ascorbic acid, thiamine hydrochloride, natural flavors, modified cornstarch, canola oil, sodium citrate, cellulose gum, sucralose, acyl sulfame potassium, neotame, sodium hexametaphosphate, potassium sorbate, yellow number 5, yellow number 6, concentrated juices. Bloody hell, man. I mean, it was like some sort of crack drink that they've knocked up in the laboratory. So any wonder I was yeah. Dara C, what's it say here? Yeah, it's irrelevant now. Russell Brand is like the David McWilliams, stirs up shite and give no answers. Yeah, there seems to be a lot of those lads around. Tim Pool is another one. It's like, I'm not saying this, but what I am saying is the left, people on the left, people on the right. I think there's going to be a civil war. I think there's going to be. Yeah, I now have a singing career. I sing songs now. I'm a singer. But people would argue that when I worked my time working as a journalist in Vice. It's just like some of the most like pedestrian, boring takes ever. Yeah, he's got loads of people watching. I don't get it, man. Kevin Ball, how you doing, sir? Good to see you. How's it going, man? Glad to catch a bit of the stream. Well, you came in at you got the elevator at the ground floor. It's all the way up to the top now, baby boy. CM Fox says they were dropping less toxic things on the Vietnamese in regards to the Sunny Delight. Lee Gibson, let's see what he has to say. Lee Gibson, I just started a new job, and the fella in the next cubicle is the vocal spit of salmon. I'm there every day trying to earn a living, and all I hear in my head is salmon giving somehow one stink. You've got to pay up that settlement before the end of the month, or we'll get the collectors in to retrieve it. I must give Salmon a shout. It's a good lad, Salmon. He's a good, strong. He's a strong young man. He's strong. He's a good, beautiful. I'm only sad he'll come to me on the day of my daughter's wedding. Why do you show me such disrespect? Godfather, please. What did these bastards, these animals? Yeah, Sam, I haven't seen him for a good while, actually. So I'm looking at putting gigs together in London as well. I'm thinking at the end of April. And I'm also hoping to do a gig out in Arizona, thanks to Maddie Strangeways. Fair play to you, Maddie boy. Stay green, pony boy. Yeah, that'd be nice. But there are certain requirements necessary before a man can enter. And I'm looking at that to do that gig for the 14th of April. So we'll see what the crack is there. Hey, we'll see what the crack is there. But I suppose the best thing to do while we wait for Ewan is hit us with a couple of questions that you'd like me to cover. Different things that have gone through my head and have been filtered, and you want to hear my takes on it. You know, you're in there. You know, you can ask me. I'm here to be asked. This is question time featuring Martin Maloney, the one and only. So please do ask a question. Anybody? There's 25, 27 of you. Who has the best questions? Ask him to sing the Rivers of Babylon, says Kevin. He was a good singer. His renditions of the Rivers of Babylon was indeed a fantastic one. I enjoyed that. No questions. See, I can't even go looking at things on YouTube for fear that it would be taken down. I don't know if anyone is actually writing anything in the chat there because it seems that here we go. Well, how we know, says Del Boy Gunner TV. Okay, so what's the occasion here tonight on Saturday night? What's everyone doing? Are you at home? Are you? Maybe some of the older lads have kids and they put the kids to bed. Now they're just lying in the bed there and they're like, I have to go to bed soon. But like, you listen to a bit of a live stream job. Is it? Let me see. Maybe I could stick on some royalty-free jazz tunes. Lee Gibson says, come here, while you're at it, what are the odds of anything new Hardy books coming down the line? Well, the odds are there will be a meeting on Tuesday to discuss Series 5, and I want to get Series 5 done this year. And then I'll be like, fuck it. I don't know if it's the last one that we'll do together, or maybe if it's good and we fall back into the stride, we might just well do another one or two. But there's another series called Parallel Live that I've had in the pipeline for a long time, and I'd really like to get that going this year. Smoking Martin, smoking Bensons, or smoking jazz cigarettes. What do you think of the mandates and the other things YouTube won't allow us to talk about unless it'll get kicked us off the platform? I don't know, man, but I really do miss the old Wild West days of YouTube where you could just stick anything up, and it was just like incrementally one thing after the other with copyright censorship. Like I have like my entire the entire collection of Hardy books up on YouTube. Someone else has done it. I don't care. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's the way it goes. Other people are enjoying it. The work has been watched. Sure, I'm not going to be getting any wedge out of it, but fuck it, man. Do you know what I mean? It's like the amount of things I've watched and streamed. I'd be a hypocrite to condone it or to condemn it. Cracking a rack, cancerous attitude. How are you getting on, Martin O'Brien? How's the forum? The forum is good, mate. Thanks. The forum is good. I've been playing a lot of Fortnite over the weekend with the kids. When I say playing with the kids, most of the time I'm like, just let me do this, just let me do this. And yeah, it's one of those things from like, when Mark in Peep Show is playing that real-time strategy game, and he's like, am I enjoying this anymore? Yeah, fuck you, when he's like blasting lads. Smoke the likes, people. Smoke the likes is right. Hit the plums up there, please. PLZ, as it's saying, chat on phones back in the day. I was watching Zambezi Nights, says Donica Birmingham. I was watching Zambezi Nights when I got the notification for this. Well, hey, no better than the man himself. 91 Vance, how you doing, Papa? More playing with your foreskin. Well, 91 Vance, I'll have you know, I'm circumcised. I'm a roundhead, not a cavalier. Even though I was more for the Cavaliers now than the Roundheads, because Oliver Cromwell was a cunt. Missy, how are you doing? Good to see you. I was waiting for you last night. Haha, sounds funny. Ho ho ho. Ho ho ho. I was I was gonna go and do a live stream last night, but I just was fucking a bit wrecked. And I kind of didn't really feel like the energy was in it. So it was probably me being like, how's it going? Yeah, cool. Yeah, what's it to talk about? Fuck. Let's go on to Twitter. Yeah, Twitter. I was going to give that up for Lent, and I failed that, as I failed to give anything up for Lent. I'm a weak dude, man. What I can say, I'm a weak guy. How are you, Richie? Good lad. Has anyone given anything up for Lent? I bet you had the pancakes though. Oh, and I'll cheers to that. Oh, the grapes of wrath, man. The grapes of wrath. Did you buy anything off Moonpig, did you? EMP, electromagnetic pulse. How we doing? That fucking job there. Right job, boy. Kevin Ball says, "Geez, man, can you imagine Filthy Frank being made now? A cornerstone of the Wild West of YouTube that people would get cancelled for right now." Filthy Frank, what was that again? Filthy Frank, wasn't that like a Nirvana song or something? Oh, Dirty Frank. Oh yeah, that lad. Yeah, yeah. Joji, the pink guy. Yeah, I mean, I got banned off Twitter. Says Cancer's Attitude. Yeah, I mean, it's is Twitter any better now? Allegedly, well, it is to be fair because they've. Oh, thank you very much. Um, Zara 140. Hey, bro, I just want to say thanks for all the hard work you've done on Hardy Books. I'm from South Africa and often have quite a hard time over here. I cannot express how much joy the show has given me. Thanks very much. You're very welcome, man. Thank you very much for the super chat. Nice to see we have viewers on the most southern tip of the South Hemisphere. So thank you very much for that, kind sir. And you're very welcome. I don't think I think our time zones are similar enough, if I'm not mistaken. Is it GMT you have down there? Or is it the same as the Central European? I don't know, man. I don't know. We got quite a diverse range of audiences here. We got people in. We got Missy who's over there in LA. We have Kevin who's over there in the Caribbean. We got CM Fox who's over here in Sweden. We got Johnny Sideways and Teller. So we got a nice crew watching to tune in here. 1 a.m. Oh yeah, so you're an hour ahead. So you must be on the old east coast of South Africa, the southeast. And speaking of which, they mustered up another South African guy. It is a lot better because they've leveled the playing field. Because when Twitter was owned by absolute zealots, it was their way or the highway. To quote the great poet and bard that is Freddie Durst of Limp Bizkit. Um, so it's just nice to have a level playing field where people can express themselves without the fear of being fucking demonetized or deplatformed. You want to see the Orthodox Lent? It's brutal. Nothing like meat, fish, milk, butter until the 15th of April. And nothing at all on Wednesdays and Fridays. Brutal stuff. Wow. Any wonder there was the old schism there. The lads in Rome couldn't handle that, hey? Oh, lads in fine purples and pinky silks saying, we won't have any of that. Been spreading the gospel of the books here. We're up to like 5 fans now. Hey, 5 fans will do. It's better to have what was it? What was the old saying goes? It's better to have 5 20s than 25s, if you know what I mean. You're over Yokel O'Keefe. He's over in Vancouver, man. Talking to a lad called Jamie over there about doing a gig. Cunt went quiet. So if you know of any places that want to get me over to do a gig, I'm going to start doing the gigs now. I just need someone to do the to help out with the logistics of it. To be quite honest with you, because I'm shite at booking flights and you know it used to be sound when I was married because it was like I'm going off here doing a bit of filming, doing gigs, and it was just like now it's like what do you mean? So everything needs to be planned well in advance. Kevin E. Moran up there in Donegal, hey, ho ho ho, that fucking man, boy. That fucking man. Johnny Logan job. Johnny Logan. See what the crack is with this Mon. Is he any? He should be nearly with us. Should be nearly with us. Johnny Sideways wants an old touch there. No word back yet. That was 15 minutes ago. Kitty, recruiting Welsh Books fans since stumbling onto it on Netflix. Fair play to you, Kitty. Thank you very much. Like it's I'm thinking for the sake of the fans, I really would love to put something new up there, some new content to look forward to. I would create a nice bit of a buzz, all right. Can it beat a nice buzz, hey? Can it beat a nice buzz? A decent buzz. A tasty buzz. Let's see. I've got the dog here having a kip beside me. I caught him eating plastic. I don't know why he does this. I think sometimes if he gets constipated or something, he'll try and eat grass. But then when he's in the house, there is no grass, so he'll just start trying to eat polythene. And a few weeks ago, I went into town. When I came back, he'd eaten like the strap off a bag, a load of polythene, and it just kept coming up for days, man. Like the amount of weird shite that dog will eat. Why do you do it yourself? Don't fucking understand it, man. Don't understand it. He's a good dog. He's an old dog now, like myself. He's getting old, getting distinguished. He should have himself fucking 2 houses built by now. Cunt, huh? Smash that like button, my dudes. Martin deserves it. Thanks very much. Appreciate that. And welcome to the party. Welcome to the party Saturday night. I should have got the guitar out, but I've left it in the pub in town. But it's a bit late as well. I'm gonna go pissing off the neighbours. So long as it ain't plastic. There was one nearby that ate buckets, had to give him water in steel containers only. Get stateside on. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know about that. Whereas Owen Colgan would say, don't know about that, man. Don't know about that. He's gone quiet lately. I think the last time he was asking to come over to Sweden to spend 4 nights in a hotel to have sex, and I was like, yeah, cool. So I just had to go on, and then he had these disappearing messages. So those ones I just thought, okay, we'll leave them in the what were they about folder, and I'll never know, man. I'll never know. Yeah. Okay. So what other fucking chat? What other chat has happened globally since? Yeah, turns out according to Seymour Hersh, America, did indeed blow up the Nord Stream pipeline. I don't think the Germans are very happy about that. And you've got fucking boys from psychic spies from China trying to steal your mind's elation. I really hope that we don't end up in a big full-scale war, because I've been arguing with a load of these fucking NAFO clims today. It's funny because when you try and say, yeah, I want the war to stop, I'm sick of this. Well, Russia should leave. I'm like, oh, so that's just after all this. I'm like, all right, cheers, lads. Sorry about that. We're just gonna head off. Like, it's as easy as that, is it? I just don't understand why. But it's the same fucking argument all the time. I just don't want to see lads being killed by the thousands on muddy fucking fields. Shady old crack in Ohio and Ukraine, man. What's the deal with? There seems to be an awful lot of derailments and food processing places going up in a blaze. Seems like it's got the work of that bald Swiss lad who sounds rather like a Bond villain. It's funny when you look at Klaus Schwab. It's like people should know the type from just watching various amounts of world domination angling nutters from various TV shows and films, but they just don't get it. Send Sligo boys to sort it, says Kevin Ian Moran. Fucking had to be done, man. Get a couple of boys from up in fucking Donegal to come down, man. Driving round in BMW 3 Series hatchbacks with the rear suspension lowered so it can barely get over speed bumps. Any show recommendations? Show recommendations of late. The last show I watched was Cobra Kai. I quite enjoyed that. I was thinking, this will be a bit shite, but I enjoyed it. There was some good. It was just good fucking crack. Do you know what I mean? The shows that I would have watched growing up would have been, Peep Show, Alan Partridge, Father Ted, Trailer Park Boys. What else? I don't know. Can't really remember. The Office, the English Office especially. I haven't really watched the American Office much. Watched it at all, actually. There's a lot of memes about it. A lot of memes. Lee Gibson, would you not do a GoFundMe set up to sidestep the RTE boys? See, the thing is, you could do, but like, it'd be very difficult to spread the word and get it out there. Do you know what I mean? It's I don't think I'd be the best person to do it, because anytime I try and do GoFundMe's, they're usually a bit shite. Speaking of which, if you want to throw a dollar or two or more onto Hardy Books Patreon, you could do that. Just set it and forget it. Set it and forget it. Shrinking has a funny script, says Missy. Haven't seen that. Plastic Paddy. Hello, Maloney. I like Plastic Paddy. What are you getting on? What are your thoughts on old Clint Eastwood movies? I watched the Fistful of Dollars series a while back and was surprised at how much it influenced Red Dead Redemption. I have read them. I have that game sitting in its case. I still haven't opened it. And I'd say, yeah, it's the old westerns with Clint Eastwood. Yeah, that'd be huge in terms of just culture. It's a bit like, you can imagine that there is films that have, I'd say maybe that's what old Alec Baldwin was trying to go for recently, till shit happened. Raymond McDonough. Martin, have you had a look at Coogan's Saxondale series, Top Draw? I remember seeing bits of it was on TV. Dr. David says it's pretty good as well. China already got all my info sent from my Xiaomi. Yes, it does. There's not really much going on the Patreon page at the moment, unfortunately. But it's like, I've kind of, yeah. Nah, bro, get stateside on. Do you want to get stateside on, do you? I'll have to kick him off then when Ewan comes. Or would we? We'll see. Let me see. I don't know, man. Stateside. He can never get on. But then again, that's a genie. I don't want to, like that. That's a genie that's back in the bottle. To be quite honest with you, I don't know if I want that genie coming out again, or there'll be like weird trolling and propositioning for questionable behavior in hotel rooms, and I'm like, don't know about that, man. I don't know about that, man. Any new Hardy Books chapters? Hey, been a while. Yeah, there's. I got well into writing them a few weeks ago. I need to get back on the case. They just need another draft or two before going up, and they will be very funny. And really am pushing the boat out as well. Jungle is massive. Pandora's box doesn't close once it's opened. Damn fucking right, hey. Damn right. And that's a box I want staying shut. Richard Corcoran. John Wayne is the man as far as cowboy films are concerned. Funny enough, there's actually a bit about John Wayne in the next bit of the next installment of the Hardy book. You're filthy. Get back into BAI. Proud of you. Get back into it, boy. Oh, yeah. A lad. Fucking fair play to you. Yeah, John Wayne. I remember seeing a meme someone had done. It was like him with like a scarf and a hat on a horseback, and was like, my old prostate needs a good milking. I was like, God almighty. Without trying, Salmon was and is the funny guy. Yeah, it's just, his timing was brilliant, man. It's funny, we were like, and fair play, Salmon was actually in it since the very, very first, the first time we got like proper broadcast quality equipment. Salmon was there from the good old days. Just bought a collection of Rio Bravo True Grit epic movies. Yeah, my dad used to watch a lot of westerns when I was a kid. Maybe I might start watching. Oh, the man is here, the main man.
You bastards! I'm after running like a whore from a fire from the city centre, grabbing a bus, and I've made it. What did I miss?
Well, I was keeping the chat going there for a good while, but it's good to have you. How are you doing?
I'm fucking excellent. I'm back in Brazil, so I couldn't be better. Home, technically. Brazil, yeah, a bit like you and Mayo. Brazil is home for me.
Ah, yeah. And where are you, in Rio?
No, Belo Horizonte.
Is that south of Brazil, is
About an hour inland, out rural Brazil, as they'd say, but a city of about 5.5 million.
Oh yeah, it's only a small spot. Like, did you bring the
You
dog
know.
with you? Did you?
I did. I sat in my lap the whole flight, and there was lucky. There was an elderly lady who never showed up in the middle between me and the wife, so the dog had the seat.
Oh, but you know what? It's a nice touch. You know, I'm like the last few days here in Sweden, the snow has been melting, so it's just like a sheet of glass when you walk outside. I was thinking to myself, do I really want to be an old man walking around, you know, Stockholm, fearing I'm going to fall over and break a hip? And then it's like, oh, I'm sorry, you haven't worked here properly. We can't pay for this. Do you know what I mean? That's what you get for working freelance between two different countries. You get the worst of both worlds. Have you ever got taxed back in Ireland, Ewan?
I got redundancy back, and it took after the Tribune closed in 2012. I remember a bunch of fellas. There was 12 of us, and the Irish Independent were the holding company, and they basically refused us, even though it would have been government payout. They said, no, you didn't work for the independent group. So we had to take them to court, and 9 of us got it. And 8 of them...
The poor bastard who didn't.
Well, it was eight of them got the payout one morning, and from the government, and it took the unions came in, and it took a year and all this bullshit, and I got done with the money. I remember a buddy of mine, Miguel Delaney, texted me. He said, "We got the money," and I said, "I haven't," and I said, I looked into it, and I said, "Well, Jesus, so you 8 got it, and I didn't. I thought it was the one case." In Waterford, they said there's 2 tax, or at the time there was 2 tax company or government tax offices, one in Waterford, one in Donegal. And I messaged them, and the one in Waterford said I hadn't paid my tax, and the one in Donegal had sent me the tax clearance certificate the previous week. But they didn't have a computer that was linked up, so I had to go through another 7 weeks of bullshit for that.
Hey, at least you got it in the end. The boys probably had all theirs spent on gaffs in San Anton.
How are you keeping? Are we on alone, or are you entertaining the masses by yourself all evening?
I was, well, just for the last half hour. But they're a good, solid crew of sound people. As you know yourself, you've been on it before. The last time yourself and Paul Gallagher had a bit of a disagreement regarding regarding Bob Geldof.
Did we? I was hammered.
Yeah, there was a couple of loose. I think he was staying in Tommy Hilfiger's house in, I think it was Grenada or something. Yeah, but so
this seems way above my pay level.
Huh?
What did we disagree about?
I think it was about Bob Geldof. We were all in agreement that you know, he's a bit. I think it was something about the Boomtown Rats. I can't remember, but we were in agreement.
But he's a cunt.
Huh?
The Boomtown Rats were brilliant, but Bob Geldof is a cunt. You know, I mean,
this is the general consensus, like, you know. So, fair play to you. Much like myself, you're sparring a lot against wankers on Twitter the whole time. Do you think these are state-sponsored lads, or are they just people?
No, it's a genuine populace. I wish they were state-sponsored, but it's the level we've reached. Just morons who. I mean, I was thinking the other day, it's very easy to convince people they're heroes when you give them money to sit at home and watch TV. Yeah. You know, I mean, that is your heroic act. And people will never admit they're wrong, and they don't want to admit they're wrong, and they would actually rather ruin you while being wrong rather than admit they were wrong. So it's a lot of it. You'll never win. We will never, ever win.
Yeah, I think that is something that's a theme that I find comes up quite a lot in the modern world, is like people, what's wrong with just being like, okay, yeah, I was wrong about that. Do you know what I mean? I was like for example, if you look at this conflict in Ukraine, for example, I was like, nah, there's no way Putin's ever going to invade. I didn't think he would. I was wrong about that. But
likewise.
yeah. But then you know, it's just when you're dealing with all these NAFO fucking Egypts, it's the same.
Oh, they're unbelievable. A bunch. I'm convinced it's a kind of a consortium of paedophiles, rapists, and children who somehow got together, and they're backed by the heads of state like Kajikalis, the head of Estonia, who thinks they're fucking wonderful. They're a bunch of fucking simplistic morons, and I'm sure they're getting a few CIA money back, and like they will. It'll all come out. People, oh, that's conspiracy theory. No, it's not. The CIA have done this throughout history.
Yeah.
And the power of social media to bully people off, and this NAFO Charter 13. Can you imagine thinking? I mean, I played, and I'm sure you did. There was behind my housing estate, there was a bit of a fucking field, and we used to play soldiers when we were 9 years old. We grew out of it when we were fucking 10. These are adults playing at soldiers while actual people are dying and roaring them on. As adults, grow the fuck up. Grow the fuck up. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of. It's just, it's amazing that when you're calling for peace, right? Unilateral peace. You got that wanker Boris Johnson who went over there.
He stopped it in April last year, as reported by the newspaper, which is very pro-Zelensky, Ukrainista Pravda. And there was basically a peace agreement on the table that would have led to where we are today without 100,000 dead bodies. And Boris Johnson said, no fucking way.
Yeah, and then you see where he went from there. Now he's now trying to angle to be the head of NATO.
But isn't it funny, mate? I mean, it's the one thing he hasn't been dragged through the mill for. If he farted on a bus, it would have been front page of the fucking Guardian.
Oh, yeah.
The only thing that Boris Johnson has not been dragged through the mill for is supporting killing 100,000 Ukrainians.
Mm. Both sides, man. Like I was looking. I don't know if you've seen that Telegram group. I mean, I would like to find if there's anyone in the chat who knows of a impartial. Just somewhere where basically it's neither on the Russian or the Ukrainian side. It's basically objective coverage. I would like to find that. Like
you can't. It's like the Irish and the Brits in the 70s. You know that. I mean, there is no stepping back or rationality. Everyone is fucking entrenched. When the reality is, and I've said it from they're two streaks. They're two cheeks of the same arse. I mean, would you actually get in a if there was a Ukrainian and a Russian fighting in a bar? Would you get in the middle? I wouldn't.
No. 1 second, I just got to read this out. Geldof had a tribute by 3 British prime ministers, Blair, Brown, and Cameron, for his 70th birthday on the Late Late Show, and he still thinks he's anti-establishment.
Oh, was Ryan? I want to know. Was that with Ryan? Was Ryan Tubridy still, or at the time, hosting the Late Late?
Yeah, of course, man, yeah. Probably he was on the fucking Schlopes, man.
How do I tweet this out that I'm on here so we can get some abuse going?
Do you know what? I don't want to get like I quite like this. Fuck them. I don't. Oh, fuck, he's gone. Yeah, I don't want these cunts coming onto me stream giving me shit the whole time. I don't know where he's gone, but he'll be back soon. Oh, jeez. As Thomas Sheridan said, England had the Sex Pistols, Ireland had the Boomtown Rats. It turns out that Johnny Lydon's parents are from near Castlebar. But I'd rather just keep it to our own crowd here instead of.
Well, that failed abysmally.
You're right. You know what, Ewan, I'd rather not have, because there's a lot of kind of there's a lot of I quite like this channel because the way it is.
Okay.
It's like a nice cozy corner of the internet where you can have adult rational conversations without people jumping down your throat. Otherwise, I would have advertised it on Twitter more myself. But
that's fair enough. Are we cuddled up then?
Basically, I don't want my YouTube channel turning into my Twitter timeline. It's like, and funny enough, even like I have a Mark Maloney Twitter page that I don't get into discussions with. Like, even though it's basically I've got like 22,000 followers odd, and I am having a back and forth. Like today, I ended up calling someone a daft cunt.
But God bless your maturity. You're a wiser man than I.
Yeah, it's I don't know, man. I like this channel is kind of it's a nice chilled channel, but maybe I was thinking about starting another channel that's a bit more spicier. That but the thing is, the two of us combined, like anytime we go, there's this one lad who always comes onto your comment section. He's from Dublin, called Mark something. It's like a picture of a teddy.
I think Mark O'Mahony, and the fact I know this is quite depressing. It's quite depressing that I know that.
Yeah, but like there's this guy again. He's just like there's one guy called Auto Response GIF bot or something who puts it up and keeps putting these annoying GIFs up, and I was like, I'd said, and I was suspended on. Thank you very much for the super sticker there, mate. I didn't because I'm using StreamYard. I don't see the conventional. That's very kind of you, mate. Thank you. But
what's a super sticker?
The super sticker. I didn't see what it was, but it's in the chat. Yeah. So you and I got 2 suspensions 2 weeks ago. I got suspended from Twitter for saying that Tony Blair needed to be chained up and whipped with belts, and that was 7 days.
Very sexual.
Sorry.
Very sexual.
Well, yeah. Like, wasn't he apparently arrested for toilet trading under the name of like Miranda or something in the 80s?
Well, it ought to be the least of his worries, given he helped kill 1 million people. But anyway.
Yeah, and now he's trying to get everyone to go around with digital passports. It's like
he's a nutter, but you can tell he looks like a ghoul. You can tell that I'm not a spiritual man, but I think he is withered away to such a point that there must have been some morals that actually evacuated his body. That his skin is so tight on his face that he knows what he did.
Well, you know what? Like the more of this that the more of this kind of geopolitical weirdness and just the way things are going culturally and fucking having like you've probably seen the latest volley of grown men dressed up like female strippers with thongs on and gesticulating and gyrating sexually in front of toddlers is the latest thing. And
very normal bit. Well, it was when I was growing up, and I jest. The
thing is, if you look at, like, you had Sodom and Gomorrah in the Bible, right? And there's something quite interesting about that, because apparently at the site where it's supposed to have been, you can see these rock formations that look like they were scorched, and there's like little balls of sulfur that are apparently concentrated in 90% sulfur, and if you light, you can pick up these balls and just light them, and they turn blue with like a phosphorus flame, and you kind of think to yourself, what if it is all real? Because basically it's a 50-50. It's 50-50. It's either real or it's not real, and if it is real, and we're living in some sort of weird occultic, weird satanic matrix, then maybe this is where it's going, and there have been various warnings before, but you start.
If there is a God, at best, he's amusing himself. At worst, he doesn't give a shit. I mean, look around. Who gives a flight? But
I like that Karen lad. We got Karen Trevor. I grew up with this girl, man. One of the soundest women on the planet. We could bring Karen if you want to jump in for the chat. We can, because fair play. Karen went down to the NHS rally there in London back in, when was it? It was last year, was it? But in April, I think it was, where they were just going to basically just sack anybody who hadn't taken an experimental medical procedure. Yeah, but I mean, just this weird shit, man, of trying to indoctrinate children into just
No, it's creepy. It's creepy, and I see it here. Like I'm in Brazil right now, and I was watching Globo, the big like the BBC of Brazil, basically. But it's the second biggest media company on earth after ABC in America. And they were gloating about how Lula has finally passed his legislation that there's a thing called the Bolsa Familia in Brazil, which is a wonderful thing. If you're poor, you basically, if your kids don't get or don't go to school enough, you will not get your social welfare, which in Brazil tends to be money, but rice and other things as well to get you by and feed your kids. But the thing that they've slipped in recently was you have to be vaccinated against COVID. And I mean, so you're actually cutting off social welfare to kids who have no risk, zero risk, zero risk. I mean, this is factual. This isn't conspiracy shit. Zero risk from COVID. But the risk of the COVID vaccine, it might be zero. I've no idea, but we don't know. So what you're giving something that may be dangerous or may not to kids for something that definitely isn't dangerous to them. So where's the fucking risk reward so they can get their social welfare? This is a bullying of poor people into possibly damaging their children. I find that abhorrent. I find that absolutely fucking abhorrent. And I'm fed up with these fucking, you know me, Jesus Christ, I'm a leftist.
Just let it
I'm a leftist. But I'm fed up with these fucking new age leftists who are actually fucking centre right, who are big media, big pharma. They're all behind all this shit. They question fucking.
There's been a bit of a switch in bait. There's been a switch in bait, right? Because these are the likes of the people who would have been claiming satanic panic during the days of like hard rock in the 80s and burning records. But somehow they've been, it's like the same demographic of busybody, curtain twitching, fucking dry bastards that because they've got some purple in their hair and they've got septum piercings and they're like sexually ambiguous and prolific in whatever the fuck they're doing. It's like the same category. The archetypes have been flipped. So they basically, it's the same archetypal tyrannical mindset, but just with the veneer of sexual liberation.
It is. Well, George Carlin nailed this years ago. He talked about the kind of revolutionary hippies in the 70s, and now they're counting grams, but they're not. They're fat grams. He used to say, and they're all into their fucking soybean futures and their Stairmasters and their fucking big ass Docker jeans. I mean, the left stopped being the left 20 years ago, and they don't represent. I wouldn't suggest the right are now the left either, but I mean, who fucking represents the left anymore? Some poor bastard. I mean, me and you got fucking booted from a lot of fucking potential work, fair enough, but we get by. You know, we're not exactly fucking in the food bank. But who represents the people that are? Get your shot. There's going to be a recession, tough shit. There's going to be a wealth transfer. I mean, who represents these people? And if you dare represent them, you're a fucking Nazi. Seemingly while cheering on Nazis in Ukraine, but that's another fucking story.
Here's the thing: this is like the whole thing. You know what it is? It's, you know, you talk about gaslighting, and these days it takes a lot of. You need to be mentally robust. It's basically like you're on the back of a motorbike, and it's a madman is driving the bike. And you're like, do I hold on and continue, or do I try and wait until there's an appropriate time just to fucking bail? You know, you need to have a robust mental mindset because it's just one psyop after another. It's insane.
Well, there's no. Can I give you one? And I'll be brutally honest with you. And I've fucking skin as thick as anyone. But to be honest, it sometimes pierces. About what was it? February. It might have been a year and a half ago. Whatever. Fuck. Was on Virgin Media. I was invited on to talk about COVID, and I was thrown off after a minute and a half, and none of my questions were given to the guests. And one of my best friends who works in journalism sent me a message and said, "You're making a fool of yourself." Mm-hmm. And I was so angry. I hadn't been drinking at the time for a couple of weeks, which is a long time for me, and I don't drink midweek. And it was a Thursday night, and I opened a beer and I broke down crying. after I'd been thrown off. And I fucking said, this is one of my best friends. And he said, you're making a fool of yourself. You're a joke. And then he sent me on screenshots from various journalist WhatsApp groups. It was 2021, about 2 years ago. And anyway, sent me on these. And I just felt like a piece of fucking shit because there's only so I knew I was going to be right, or I thought I was right. But they keep undercutting you. And it's fucking hard sometimes. But anyway, I hadn't heard from this person in about a year and a half. And I got a text message tonight from them. You okay, man? It's been a while. If you ever need any help, my door is always open. Help. Yeah. And this person is doing wonderfully in journalism, making an absolute fortune. No kind of, look, you were right back then or anything. They moved on to the next thing. And after Ukraine, when they've killed a couple of 100,000 Ukrainians, I can guarantee you it'll be onto climate.
Oh yeah,
and they won't take fucking responsibility for that either.
Strange that as soon as this conflict kicked off, COVID was done.
It was perfect timing. No, that wasn't a conspiracy. It was just it happened to fit in. It wasn't a conspiracy. It just genuinely happened to fit in very well. And then people say, "Oh, so you were an expert in epidemiology, and now you're an expert in Ukraine." No, I was an expert in fucking
who use the word whataboutism all the time. This is one of those new phrases that has cropped up in the zeitgeist lately. It's like, when you say, when someone mentions, and it's even like the likes of cunts on Twitter. It's like he's gonna say, what about Iraq now? It's like they're so used to hearing people talking. Like earlier on, I was talking to someone about it, and they were like, some fucking like Spanish arsehole called Spanish anti-fascist, and I was writing, what are you talking about, man? You literally, they are fascists, these people, and the American Empire and the British and NATO is if you put fascism, it's supposed to be the merging of state and government, and this is what it is: the federalization of Europe. It's a super state where every organ of media, business, finance, defense, surveillance, security, and law. It's all funded by the EU, and
it is the best of propaganda because it has convinced people that to go against it is actually propaganda. It's incredibly good propaganda. It's the best we've ever seen. Well, even better than the actual COVID stuff.
Propaganda started with Edward Bernays, and then it continued on with the Tavistock Institution, and God knows who else. But they've managed to refine it. I mean, focus groups. You used to have a focus group back in the day where you would bring people in and sit them down and ask them what they wanted, and But now the likes of Cambridge Analytica and all of these the metrics and the data and the cookies and the algorithms, they can predict what will, it's like, you come from journalism. Look at Vice. Vice is nearly bankrupt, and Vice and a lot of things like Rolling Stone. Did you see the way Woody Harrelson had so much shit from his appearance on Saturday Night Live?
On Saturday Night Live for stating basically in a humorous way fact and showing. But again, you can't, because, and this, I had a fella on to me the other day and he was wondering how we get the terms of reference for the investigation in Ireland, for example, into the lockdowns. And he said, oh, they're focusing on this, they're focusing on that. He said, how can you get it focused on this? I said, you can't. When you've tricked 90% of the people and every wealthy person has got away with it, how are you? 90% of the people won't want to admit they're wrong. Politicians aren't going to lose their seats. Big companies aren't going. It's done. I mean, it's sorry that ship has sailed. They won. They will always win. Now me and you can scream at the fucking wind, but we're not going to win.
It's easy to acknowledge which few have the time, care, or will. Do you know what? It's a very good point there, John McGonigal. I don't know where you lie in your esoteric and occult knowledge and whatnot, but being like, for me, time is as important as money, And that's why, I've always been like to be freelance so I can work on my own steam and look into this kind of stuff. And symbolism, it's symbolism. They put it out there. But there is a lot, like, we're dealing with people who, they're not like us. They don't think like us. They don't have empathy. And it's like, if you look at Aaron Russo, did you ever see that interview with Aaron Russo where he's talking about he met one of the Rockefellers? I became friendly with the Rockefellers, and they invited me over for dinner one night. And they're like, "Hey, Aaron, why do you think we gave women the vote?" He's like, "Well, it's the right thing to do." It's like, no, that's not why. Because you get the women in the workplace, you tax them both. You put the kids into the school, and we teach the kids the curriculum that we want to teach them. And but it's like Edward Bernays that time when it was in The Century of the Self with Adam Curtis covered it, where basically these torches, the cigarette companies wanted women to smoke, so they co-opted it in such a way where they make out that it's for the benefit of the intended victim audience. So it's a reverse psychological trick that they use. So basically, they send women down Fifth Avenue on Labor Day in New York City, smoking these cigarettes that were called, I think it was like Liberty Torches, or Torches of Liberty, or something like this, to basically, the whole thing was a ploy to double the revenue for cigarette companies. And what happened to most of these people who smoked? They got ill from smoking and cancer and strokes and heart attacks. And this is what happens with a lot of these movements, that they seem like they're all for the good of progressivism and change, but there's a hidden agenda. There's a sleight of hand going.
Yes, there is. But most of these NGOs are funded very heavily by government. Do you mind me asking you something out of curiosity? I mean, because I'll be brutally. I'm always brutally honest. I loved Hardy books. I still loved it when it went on RTE, but less so. Because I could see the Dublin 4 hand on it and need to reel it back in. And I was wondering why. And do you feel bitter that it got cancelled or didn't get recommissioned, or why didn't it, or was it because of your views? Because I know as a journalist myself, I mean, I was sacked. I mean, I'm doing my own thing now because my views on COVID and stuff. I absolutely know that. And I've been told I'll never be employed in Irish media again. I'm just curious, your experience of that.
Do you know what? I think, like, I can't. There are things I've said publicly in the public domain. I think to myself, okay, I'm probably going to be cancelled, or it's definitely going to hinder me. But at the same time, I'm not going to change the way I process and view the world, and I'm not going to get bitter about it. There will always be. You've just got to be more creative in terms of where you go. You know yourself, and when you get the mainstream coin, it's very, very plentiful.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I won't be bought off. I won't be silenced, and I won't take my 30 pieces of silver for going against the values that have been instilled with me since childhood, and also the innate values I see myself and the way I process the world. And like I'm an honest person by nature. I don't have a filter, and I think the film game and like, if you look at the likes of Hollywood, it's very, very, it's downstream. Culture is always downstream from politics, and the entertainment world, they select the people they know will push whatever agenda. You got John Legend, who's out there selling Pfizer, and you have your shills that will sell whatever they will, and they'll do it with a smiling face. I saw Nicole Kidman eating fried tarantulas and weird insects as if to make that, I think it was on like Vanity Fair or something. It was like to try and push this idea. I mean, this idea of like, oh yeah, it's time to start eating insects. They eat them in Asia and Africa. What's wrong with it? Well, we've got to get over. Look, I don't mind Thank you very much for that super sticker there again, mate. But I don't. If someone wants to eat crickets, someone eats worms or bugs, fucking fine, go for it. But don't force it upon us.
Do you ever question yourself on that though? Like, do you ever wonder? I do, and I have my answer in my own head. But you ever wonder, like, you could have been on the Late Late Show last night
They
doing
never
some
have one. They wouldn't
shitty.
have. See, we were anti-establishment before we came on. We were always like, I mean, for me personally, I don't know what the other lads are doing. That they're probably trying to get into more mainstream things. But for me, man, I was at one stage trying to make it. I was in LA. I was having a lot of really big meetings about 10 years ago. Then I had kids, and then I tried to balance being a dad and trying to maintain this career. And I think it was, and I was quite bitter about it for a long time because I moved back to Sweden. It's not like it's like trying to fucking score a goal in a football match, but you're down in the centre, 3 miles away, buying a bottle of Yop. Do you know what I mean? It was like, but at the same time, I've realigned the priorities of myself and trying to climb this greasy pole that's filled with sycophants and people who will give you their honest opinion in private conversations, but then will throw you under the bus publicly to save themselves in the eyes of other people, which has happened, which reminded me a lot, and I won't mention who did it, but it reminded you of your friend there who piped up back in the day. It's damaged
And it hurts. I mean, we're not. I mean, as much as we like to be anti-establishment, that fucking thing, it does. When mates do it, it does fucking hurt. Yeah, I mean, we're not. We're human, you know.
Yeah, well, look, the thing is, the human body reacts to social rejection the same way it does as physical pain. If you're going through a breakup and your partner breaks up with you, it's hard, man, because you get dopamine from being with that person, and suddenly that they turn their affection away and don't want to be with you one day, and it causes immense physical pain. And I think that's something in the human condition that is designed much like the fact that we feel physical pain to stop us from injuring ourselves or pushing ourselves too far. The same goes for our relation to social ostracization and alienation. But when you get to a stage where, like, and this is where people need to get to, and this is basically something that can be learned. It's like stand-up comedy or performing live in front of people. It's exposure to that. The more you do it, the easier it gets. I mean, I'm not saying like look at someone like Katie Hopkins, for example. Most people loathe Katie Hopkins, but she still gets out there and she still says things that are going to
Well, I think
bring.
that's because, and you're excuse my professionalism. I'm grabbing a phone charge.
Oh, work
Give me
away, man.
1 second because this fucking thing is going to die. Give me 30 seconds, and I apologize to whoever's viewing.
Yeah, no worries. No worries. Work away, man. Work away. But yeah, I'm not saying I'm a fan of Katie Hopkins, but you gotta hand it to her that she will go out there and I'm trying to think of other people of that kind of type that will go out there and willingly bring fucking nutters after them. I mean, like she does look a bit like a goblin as well, and yeah, I'm just trying to think of other people. Alex Jones, the evil goblins. In the chat there, throw in someone you think, whether you like them or not, has achieved that zero fucks given when it comes to putting themselves out there in the eye of the storm, because it isn't an easy place to be. We've got an interesting comment up here. I see. This is an awesome conversation. So glad I joined the stream. Oh, this is most streams to be like this. Hey, more streams. It's like as if our culture has come full circle and gone back to a modern version of the 50s. Yes, Paj Mahaj, I do enjoy your insights, mate. That is exactly. It's an you know what it is? It's an inverted hyper conservatism. That's what it is. It's like imagine the Mary Whitehouse wearing a crotchless thong.
Sorry, I shouldn't laugh, but that's a hell of a description.
You know what I mean? Or it's like some sort of like sexualized nuns that are like this guy. Oh, I don't agree with this. You know, it's fucking mind control, man. You know, what I usually do is I'm like, hey, what would I have thought of this 20 years ago? What would I have thought of this 10 years ago? What would these people have thought themselves 10 years ago? And I watched, there was a video that came up yesterday on Twitter, and it was a TikTok video that was reshared on Twitter. And there was a woman talking about a biology lesson, and it was about the bystander effect. And she said that she went into, she had a very loving and very kind biology teacher. And on this particular day, the biology teacher was very stern and very abrupt. And he brought them all in, and there was like a circle of chairs, and there was a table in the middle of the chair. And he was very, very direct. And he said, if you move from your chair, if you say anything, you're going to fail this whole year. And she was like an A student. Whereas for me, I was like, don't give a fuck. But basically, what happened was he took a goldfish, placed it on the table, and said that any of you move or intervene, you have failed for the year. So he takes the goldfish out of the bowl and places it on the table, and then he walks out of the room and leaves them all there. So this poor goldfish is flapping around or flopping about on the table, gasping for air. And everyone was looking at each other silently. Everyone was looking at each other going, oh. And about 5 minutes passed of all this, anxiety-laden woe. And the one girl gets up and she goes, I don't give a fuck. I'm saving this goldfish. She picked it up and she put it back in the jar, or back in the bowl. So the teacher comes back in and he goes, that is the bystander effect. And that's how easy it is for good people to slip by and say nothing and do nothing. And it turns out that the goldfish was a breed of fish that could survive for 15 minutes outside of water. So he knew his fish, being a biology teacher. But she said that it was a lesson, that she felt so bad that she was conforming to something she knew was morally wrong and objectively wrong. But because of the threat of authority taking something away from her, she said nothing. And she said that defined her as a individual for the rest of her life going forward. And that's why I have a lot of respect for you, Ewan, because you say what you put it out there. You say what it is that you say what it is that you objectively know deeper.
I just want people to be okay.
People would
only say there's enough for everyone to be okay. And I don't know what okay is. I mean, I left a very nice apartment I bought in Portugal, and I'm back in Brazil in a much smaller apartment. Tiny apartment, in fact, in comparison, in any comparison, it's tiny. And I love it because I'm not inside every day, because Brazilian culture is outside. I'm outside of people who have more than me, less than me. And I just fucking hate the idea of there's enough for everyone.
There is.
There really is. There's plenty for everyone to live like me and you. And me and you live okay, you know? And that bothers me. That really fucking bothers me. Why is there a fucking person out the back behind me in a cardboard box at the back of my apartment block? Why? Like, I mean, and then there's a cunt 2 blocks down living in a fucking high rise. Like, I mean, I don't get it. And maybe I'm stupid. I just think there's enough for everyone. But it bugs me that the people who keep pronouncing that they're into these things, oh, we're all into equality, we're all into taking care of everyone, are the ones actually making money from these pronouncements and abusing people who actually say it legitimately. And that bothers me. I mean, there's fucking plenty. I'm not suggesting everyone should live in a high rise. I'm not a communist.
Okay, look at it like this.
Everyone have a fucking roof.
How much money has America alone sent to the war? Let's just say to the war effort in Ukraine. A war.
Weapons so far, 120 billion in weapons And in other aid, they reckon so we're up near $500 billion in other aid. Yeah.
And they can afford to when they just keep pumping money out of thin air based on the petrodollar.
Yeah.
But they're in for a big fucking shock because the BRICS nations are going to move away from this law-based or rules-based order. And but sometimes I think, is this like, George Soros said that it was his greatest dream to see the fall of the United States of America, and the people in the States are good people. By and large, they're good people, but they are fed the worst kind of foods, the worst fucking propaganda and nonsense, like race fucking baiting and division. Every single like critical theory that came out of the Frankfurt School. It's interesting to note that the likes of Marcuse and all these guys who came out of the Frankfurt School, they jumped ship from Frankfurt before the war broke out, and then they went to America. And since then, their fucking bullshit has, basically destroyed what was, America had its problems, big time, and I'm not denigrating that, but look at the state of America now with all this pseudo fucking scientific bollocks. We've lost them again. But while we wait for him to come back, there is enough for everybody. You look at how much food gets wasted. You look at how much food gets wasted at supermarkets, and like you have quotas that, like, if, for example, the amount of white fish that gets is just one example. Second, we got 1 second. There's a kind of a weird flapping noise, like sounds like a rotor blade. It's not. There's a strange noise coming from your end. Hold on. 1 second. It's like a. Yeah, it sounds better, but I can't hear you now. Oh wait, hold on. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you need to turn your gain up a little bit though, because it was sounded like a nearby slow rotating helicopter blade.
Am I any better?
No. Yeah, if you is this, let's say, wind up the internet. Chopper over his face.
It may actually be the federal police over my fucking head. They're not looking for me. I promise, not tonight. Hang on 1 second. John, I'm going to put in headphones as well because that'll cut back the loop. 1 second.
Yeah, no worries.
Why did they put me out? Headphones.
Christian Morris told that goldfish story yesterday. It rang true. Or it sounded like the beginning of one of the Pink Floyd songs. Bring down. What do you think about the beef between Roger Waters and David Gilmour?
Me?
Yeah, did you see that recently?
I'm gutted.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Two of my heroes.
Yeah.
Too flawed. Every hero is flawed. And by the way, does it sound less like a chopper above my head?
Yeah, it sounds fine now.
Okay. Oh yeah,
I'll just get the chat's opinion there. Just see how it sounds.
I mean, I couldn't take a side between Gilmour and Waters. I mean that.
Yeah, I mean, you can imagine how the beef would have transpired between the two of them as well, because you can imagine like Roger Waters is trying to get the lyrics. He does a lot of time puts a lot of time into the lyrics and the feel of the content, and then Gilmour come like if the Fletcher Memorial, take all your overgrown infants, and next thing he just fucking Gilmour comes in with like groundbreaking solo. So I'd say that there was a fair bit of
I'd say it was like, I mean, Waters was an average singer but a brilliant lyricist, whereas Gilmour was a brilliant musician. So you can imagine the fucking tension. And I'm trying to get my camera back on here because fuck me.
Now take your time. I started listening like yesterday. I've been playing I have a piano here, which now I'm in a bigger place. I have space for the keyboard in the living room, and I was trying to play "Goodbye Yellow Brick Road" by Elton John. So now I was
Yeah.
listening to Elton John. Fair play to him. I don't agree with his political views. You know, like Rod Stewart, for example, wanting to bring F-16s to Ukraine from England, even though they don't even have F-16s. But his early work was very,
Did he? Oh
yeah.
no.
Let me see. What was it? That was it. Rod Stewart.
You're ruining my heroes live.
Yeah, I mean they're ruining themselves, man. You know, he was asking Rishi Sunak to give F-16s to. I mean, all these fuckers, man. Like they're all put in to. They're all put into you know the likes of Sunak, like Vradker. They're all put in there, and they're all World Economic Forum puppets as well. What's it say here? If West has guts to give Ukraine F-16 fighters, the war is over, says Lieutenant Colonel Stuart Crawford. Oh yeah, and who's going to be driving these 60 F-16s? Do you know what I mean? Who is it exactly that they expect? Because they have all this American equipment that they're using over in Ukraine is being like commandeered by Americans and Polish and NATO forces.
Well, Ukraine is now a failed state. I hate to say it. It's the new Libya. It's the new Afghanistan. It's the new
Well, you see,
Somalia.
the whole point. There's a guy called Kuroda Coleman who's a geopolitical analyst, and I remember reading a thing he did before. Basically, and there was a guy called General Barnett, I think it was, and he talked about there was a full spectrum dominance, and this has been in the pipeline for a long time. And the idea was the USA was particularly concerned about the trade between Russia and Germany and Europe, that if Europe and Russia had come together as one solid block, they would have had full spectrum dominance.
That was
So,
back. That was an 1987 CIA report, and one of the top guys in the CIA said the biggest threat to American hegemony was if Russia and Germany actually got along, and they did everything they could since then. And I'm just stunned by the fucking stupidity of people over the Ukraine war. 150,000 Ukrainian young men are dead. They have no army left. They are conscripting cripples. They are conscripting 16-year-olds, 15-year-olds out of coffee shops.
man, it's fucking heartbreaking. You know, like I saw a video yesterday of some lad who was like, he was, you know, absolutely in a state of shock, saying "Mama, Mama," basically that he's still alive. You're like, I condemn this war, you know, in all of its. But like the thing is, when people say it started 24th of February, it didn't. It started like Kolomoisky and Goldfarb.
It probably started in 1991 at the fall of the Soviet Union. If you want to be kind of pedantic, it at the earliest it started in 2014 when the US overthrew an elected government with the help of Nazis. And then trained 10,000 soldiers a year. I mean, and people say, oh, no, they didn't. Why was John McCain in Kiev?
Yeah, and John McCain and Lindsey Graham. Let me tell you something about Lindsey Graham, right? Lindsey Graham is Lindsey Graham, for a man who puts down LGBT policies, but still has been with nearly every male escort in Washington. Check out, you should check out Lady G, Lindsey Graham's Ladybug story, because you won't be able to fucking eat. You know.
I would imagine it's a bit like what was that program? The redone one. Your man who got done for abusing young fellas. What was that show? About
Seventh Heaven.
No, the one recently. Well, within 5 years of like the guy who became American president, but he was originally a senator, and the first series was good.
Oh, who? Yeah.
With the guy who abused the young fellas, the gay fella who was, what was the name of that show?
Was it in the States?
Yeah, it was the biggest thing on Netflix for a couple of years. He was originally in oh fuck me, my mind is gone. House of Cards.
Oh, Kevin Spacey.
Yes, that was the one.
Oh yeah, he was in the old Vic. Up to, I mean, like, funny how 4 of his witnesses just ended up dead as well.
Yeah, but he told you to take the vaccine, so it's all good.
Yeah.
I'm trying to start my cam again here. I have a very fucking old laptop. Hang on. Thank you, Spacey. I see coming in the comments.
Yeah. Or just pedo.
Oh, there's that too.
There's some bad bastards out there, isn't there, man? There's some really bad bastards out there.
Well, I got really depressed at the start. Larry David, I think he's a genius. But when he came out and said everyone should stay in their house, and he put out a video at the start of COVID, and you see Larry
Samuel L.
David,
Jackson's
like a
another one.
fucking
Stay at home.
10 million square foot thing, you know.
So it turns out masks did fuck all, lockdowns did fuck all, the vaccination was
fuck
questionable.
And
you know, the whole thing was a fucking shambles and the biggest transfer of wealth we've ever seen.
They do. How do lockdowns work exactly, right?
They don't work.
Right?
The whole, like, the weird thing is
the rich stay at home and have food delivered to their door, okay, and they keep getting paid by their jobs. But the people delivering the food, cooking the food, taking their food rubbish away, cleaning their blocked toilets, they still have to work. So if the virus is so deadly, how can they still work? And they have to go back to their family and their grandparents and all this.
The whole thing was about destroying small business. How many small businesses or like medium-sized businesses that have been going for like generations are now gone after many years of being a business? They're gone.
Oh, they're gone. And people are stunned by this. Oh, they say it's hindsight 2020. Well, I'm sorry. If you actually close a business for 2 years and then say you have to buy off Amazon, and then you think Amazon are going to give back their market share? What a load of bullshit. These people knew where, and it's not ignorance. I don't think it's conspiracy either. I think they were just thinking, let's fucking make the best of a bad situation.
Well, look at it now. It's we got Shawneens in the mix. A pandemic income was had to come from somewhere. We borrowed against 2 tomorrows. Yeah, absolutely. You know what?
But that's the thing. I'm fed up with, oh, well, the pandemic, we gave money to this, we gave money to that. No, you gave your own money back to you with the fucking interest rate.
Yeah.
It wasn't, the government bailed us out. No.
But you get nothing for free off these
fuckers. You're the taxpayer.
What's this? RoboGod says, close their small businesses and still have to pay Irish rent.
Oh, it was appalling. It was appalling. Can you imagine paying rent for a business that you have to shutter? Say you're selling books, but Tesco can sell books, and that's allowed to stay open. I mean, it was one of
that was the thing. Like, some businesses were deemed as essential, whereas, you know, big businesses, like big places, were allowed to stay open. Whereas, like, your small place, like, let's say a bakery, a cheesemonger, a butcher's, you know, like, these places had to close down, even though they would have adhered to these pointless fucking, like, I remember here in Sweden there were, and you see, the thing is, these jobs-worthy bastards.
But that wasn't a pointle. That the bits that were deemed essential were actually the big companies. Like, why was it the guy in the corner who was selling the same stuff as Tesco or Dunn's? Why was he never deemed essential? Like, it was the greatest wealth transfer. I love the way the off-licenses were allowed open. People are still trying to defend it.
You know, the off-licenses, I mean, how many people just turn into fucking, you know, sauce monsters over the lockdown? Because, you know, I tell you, the thing about the lockdown, it ruined a lot. It took people's future away indefinitely. Like, it's had a huge effect on me, because I kind of like, I used to be 3 or 4 times a month flying abroad and you know, doing gigs, and it's really kind of messed up my head now. Like, the idea, it's like, oh god, can I go, you know? And it's really the effect it's had on me as well personally. It's a kind of a fucking, it was a traumatic experience, not like a in your face, like, and I lived in Sweden, which got it right. even though they tried their best to try and to screw it up for everyone. I agree that's our money, but it's not money that was accumulated from a rainy day fund. That money was, one, printed, devaluing existing money, and two, the money was appropriated for elsewhere. I mean, imagine living in the States, man.
Well. Two
You've
things
got
on
like a
that. And people somehow deny inflation. I mean, this is the recipe for inflation. You print money, which devalues money because there's more of it, and B, you close everything, so there's less of shit to buy, which drives up the price of it. So money is worth less, shit is more expensive, and suddenly they wonder why there's inflation. I mean, it's fucking baffling, but it's okay. They've moved on to the next thing.
But yeah, but you know what comes usually historically? What comes after hyperinflation? A good war to reset the table.
Well, we need to kill. Yeah, exactly. We need to kill the poor, transfer a bit of money, get people's minds off the problem. So 150,000 dead Ukrainian men, U.S. hegemony. BlackRock, I see, are moved into Ukraine now to rebuild.
Oh yeah,
as if they're
they'll
going to
get the
have any
rebuilding
fucking
contracts. Larry
rebuild. It's
Fink and the
Russian.
boys. Apparently, BlackRock are the biggest sponsors of the World Economic Forum as well. And you see, the thing is, in the old days, it was a banner. You know what I
That's
mean?
a
It was the banner
conspiracy,
of the.
though, isn't it? I mean, all these facts are conspiracy.
Oh, I love all these fact checkers now who are seeing their arse now. It's all coming out. This fact check bullshit started in the presidential election of 2016. It was like the word fake news and fact checking with Assange's shit with all that fucking Pizzagate stuff. A lot of very circumstantial, weird shit going on there. That's all I'll say on that issue. But then you look at the likes of Kevin Spacey, Epstein's Island. Woody Allen was out there, and let's not turn this into a witch hunt. It's a fucking creepy, weird fucking industry. I'm just talking about like show business that attracts broken people in need of validation, predatory people who will then capitalize off the likes of these people who are desperate for attention and validation. And then there's the whole business side of it for example, Rahm Emanuel, who was Obama's military advisor, I think, is also Ari Emanuel's advisor from CAA, Creative Artists Agency, and it's like the two, like it's like American Sniper and all these kind of films. They're basically, I grew up watching so many action movies that for me, I was always like wanted to be in the military, and until and same with like the likes of Modern Warfare. Isn't it funny? Like Modern Warfare, like the Warzone game, they had their own version of the World Health Organization in it, and it was a very kind of very almost European style battleground. If you look at Modern Warfare 2 as well, there was like the Russians invaded the States, and I was like, there's no way that anyone is ever going to try and do a fucking land invasion of the States, but it put it in people's head. Rahm Emanuel, mayor before outgoing Beetlejuice. Are you there, Ewan? Here? We've lost him. He's gone. Look into the things that Kanye points out about Ari Emanuel. Ari and the cabal will eliminate that threat. Martin, you rip on the Big Bang during the Hardy book is the greatest rant I've ever heard regarding the garbage US sitcoms. In US, all friends watch that show. I couldn't get it through my head. You know what, Matthew? I remember being in the States in 2011 and hanging out with someone who's in the Writers Guild saying that she knew someone who wrote that show. And I was like, it's young Sheldon. This is the kind of shite that you're forced to watch on a plane. The Pale Avenger. How you doing, Pale Avenger? Are you coming on to the stream? I could do with some heavy lifting. I can hear the cat trying to scrape to get in, but he can wait until after the stream because he'll only end up meowing shite to me in the heat of the night. Pale Avenger, Fucking Gavishkonian Dream Boy. Fucking Gavigan. He's over in Munich. Fucking Gavigan. They need a modern day Pearl Harbor, or that's where. Oh yeah, the was that the Project for New American Century. Great guys, man. Really good people. We seem to have lost Ewan. I need to go for a slash and top up my wine. But in the meantime, what I will do is I will show you this latest installment that I've done, featuring good old Graham Russell. So what we'll do is it's only a minute. So it's just something to put, a little bit of self-promotion of stuff that I have done on my own channel. So we'll share the screen. Regarding Predator 2, mate. Predator 2 in Merseyside. Okay, lads.
Hey, Russell, mate, how you doing? Dropping in just to say Predator 2,
I'll be back in a
growing
sec.
up in Merseyside.
Talk amongst yourselves.
He's invisible, he's invincible, and he's in town with a few days to kill. I remember looking at the cover of Predator 2 in the video shop in Liscard Precinct when I was about 9. And I tell you one thing, the idea of a interstellar visitor with very, very hostile intentions, yeah, fair enough. He was a bit of a good sport, was our Predator, but it doesn't mean he wasn't a fucking bad bastard. You wouldn't even see that crack going on in the judicial system. At least there'd be human rights and all that. If someone was like, the voodoo lads versus the Colombian cartels, or the fucking special ops in the jungles of South America versus some drug dealer lads or whatever the fuck, Predator would go in there and he'd obliterate everybody, mate. But the thing is, he was a good sport. Like, he seemed like Bill Paxton had knocked up your one, who was Danny fucking Glover's workmate in the precinct. And he was like, she's got a baby, but I will kill Bill Paxton. And I didn't like that, because Bill Paxton was my favourite in Aliens and Predator 2. But also, he was good in True Lies. Now, with that in mind, he did also get killed by the Terminator, Terminator 1. So that's all I'll say on the issue of Predator 2.
Great. That was some fantastic time, and that was Lords. What to say here? My friend Ed plays the bartender in Young Sheldon. Well done. He's probably got good money. Strongbow Maloney, how do you deal with people who hate you for no reason and that you can't avoid? Do you know what? Thankfully, I don't have many haters. Long may it last. But just fuck 'em, man. Anyone who doesn't like you as my friend fucking Rodney Boy said, he goes, Martin, you're one of the fucking sonest men I've ever met in my fucking life. And if anyone doesn't like you, they're the one with the fucking problem, hey. So fuck 'em. That's what I say. If Biden poisoning the water of 33 million Americans didn't wake up, nothing will. Yeah, you know what? That man is an absolute fucking clim. And they must have some deep stuff on him. China will step up to be the next Pearl Harbor. Oh, yeah. He's invisible. He's invincible. And he's in town with a few days to kill. Stephen French vibes. The will to attack and crush your enemies. The Kukuru, Sensei Ronnie Caldwell. But we seem to have lost Ewan. I'll have to chase him up and see what the crack is. See what the Don Lemon is with him. Bear with me now. One second, Lords. Yeah, so if he's there, he's there. So that was looks like Ewan is probably gone for the night. Martin, do you ever think we'll see another music renaissance like the second half of the 20th century? It's a good question. There doesn't seem to be much happening really. It's just like basically, I think since digital audio workstations have come along, it's mostly copy and paste. Nothing's really analog anymore, and everything's been done. I think one of the biggest correlations with, let's say, the 60s is probably acid that opened people's minds and kind of pushed them into another realm of creativity. So I don't know, and some people say that was a psyop as well. I don't know, man. I don't know. Shawnee says, been watching mobster Michael Franzese on YouTube. Not shabby. Would be dope for him to chat to Stephen. We should make that happen. Get the pair of them on sometime. Who was that little bird in series 2? Was friends with Maureen. That's Sheila Moylett. Ray Moylett, the boxer's sister. Sound woman. What's the name of the Discord group again? I had to make a new account. I was locked out of the email. Sting's Digest. Prog rock turned us all gay. Yeah, there was some shit prog rock out there. Taj Mahaj enjoyed that one. Yeah, prog rock. I don't know, man. There was a lot of fucking noodling, and it's something that never really. I remember hearing this, like Rush, for example. I'm not shitting on them, but I just never really got into them. Pavlov's Dog, another one. RoboGarda, thank you for the super chat. The bit in Hardy Books, I'll put this up on the screen so we can all read it. The bit in Hardy Books where Eddie is sleeping the hours away while drinking a can really hit home with a load of Irish lads, I'd say. Great stuff. Fucking sleeping's all I do now, man. More crack dreaming. Oh, fucking Castaway, Tom Hanks, just like desperate need of a woman. Probably had a wank to a mountain in the shape of a tit or something. Yeah, they never fucking liked us, the old establishment, because we shown we could do it ourselves, entertain people with a very small budget, just a coalition of the willing people that took part in creating it. But and that's the truth, man. That is the truth. But what are we now? We're up an hour and 37. And this is me doing the. I think we'll knock it on the head now, but usually I don't. Probably keep going for another 20 minutes or so. Don't know about that, man. Don't know about that. I think I completed rock music in the 90s. I do enjoy rock music. I mean, like for me, when I came to Sweden, they were all into like hard rock. It still is a big thing over here. Whereas like there was no. I remember, like, there was no places where you could, like, house parties before and after you come back were the times where we could put on hard rock, like fucking Van Halen and just good party rock from the 80s. Well, you can never go to a place and listen to that music in Ireland, unfortunately, because it was too nuanced. Whereas here in Sweden, you had plenty of rock clubs that were filled with very beautiful women who wore very revealing clobber. It was always, imagine that, like Motley Crue dancers in nightclubs in Sweden. It was a great touch. It was a great touch. I enjoyed myself very much. Thank you, Sweden rock. It's gone. It's fucking gone. It's done. Even the the rock of Sweden is all gone now. But you cannot beat a good fucking tasty riff, and just about a hard rock at the end of the day. Oh, you think Radiohead completed rock? Oh, I thought you said yourself. Oh, wait. Okay. I get it. But, yeah, I think I might wrap it up here, lads, because I've been staring at screens all day, and I haven't been doing much exercise lately. Melody Pugh, hello. Red Vino, that man. It fucking is. This here, I don't know. I got it last week because Marcus... Maha, fair play to him. He was making a chicken casserole of sorts, a chicken chasseur, and we used Black Mountain, Shiraz Cabernet, southeastern Australia, probably somewhere near Mildura, near the Green River. It's got Swedish written on it. It says solmoget, filigt, fruktigt, mörka bär, rostat kaffe, choklad. Solmoget, don't know what that means. Sunny, I guess. Filigt, full, fruktigt, fruity, mörka bär, which means dark berries, roasted cafe, and chocolate. So chocolate. And thank you very much for the czars again, mate. Hey, bro, I'll put this up. Hey, bro, thanks for the stream again. I unfortunately can't join everyone because of power issues in my country, but whenever I can, I will. Thanks again. Listen, you're always welcome, and you're in the same time zone. So, man, thank you very much for your generosity tonight. I really do appreciate that. It's very, very generous of you and kind of you. And you're always welcome here on Maloney's Digest. Always say, thanks, thanks very much, Oak. And we got Matthew DiMaggio from the States with another tasty super chat. Thank you very much. Thanks, Martin. Been a lurker for a while. Hardy Book helps with those sleep woes every night. So I owe you. That is something I promise you I'm going to get the next... I sent them over. I sent them over to Dr. David to help just to tidy up just to make it flow better. But Uncle David has been a busy boy lately, and he's not been well with the long COVID. Oh, I'm listening to myself through the headphones there. Seriously, Purple Haze. Now I get you. Seriously cool being in the stream, Martin. Kind of surreal talking to my hero, hand pink waving. Purple Haze, mate, and I appreciate you're a good skin. And thank you very much to Matthew as well for that, mate, for that generous chat. Shawneen, box of wine keeps suburban American women going strong. Is that the ones who watch The View? Pink Floyd went downhill when they turned to prog rock. When would that be, Garode? That's what have I missed, Martin? What are you up to? So we've had a sports journalist on who has been cancelled for his tasty slices of reality that he dishes out, and he's now been shunned by the Irish media. Which, see, the problem is with Irish media, it's a very small world, and where basically, you know, people may share the same opinions of you, but they fucking don't say it out loud because they don't want to lose the handy ball of money. Oh, please, I've got the loveliest house in Terranure. I cannot lose it. The kids, Roshner and Falconer, they need to go to Griffin the Clock and Skirkenster. And I need to bring them in the Lamborghini. Oh, thank you very much. Get some vitamin D, lad. Thank you very much, Shawneen, for that magnificent $5. Thank you very much for Laurie Lightfoot there for checking out early. She, what can you say? Probably one of the most useless mares I've ever known. Not that I've known many, but we wish her well with the verdict. Where Pink Floyd always prog. That's what I was thinking. You had the early days of I've got a bicycle with Sid Barrett. Shawneen, can read us a bit of the news, but in your Trump voice. Can you? Okay, I'll read. I'll read the Lori Lightfoot. Okay, Lori Lightfoot. I'll do it in Trump's voice. This is for you. Okay, let's read the news. Okay, BBC. Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot loses re-election bid. Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot has lost her bid for re-election after a campaign in which she came under fire over the city's high crime rate. She was the first Black woman, the first openly gay person to serve as head of America's third largest city. And I'll have you know, I've got a fantastic hotel there. It's beautiful. Fantastic hotel. It is the best hotel in all of Chicago. The Democrat conceded defeat on Tuesday. Two of the challengers, both Democrats, who will advance to a runoff next month. Miss Lightfoot's defeat makes her the city's first-time mayor in 4 decades. First term, yeah, you get the general idea. It's not my greatest Trump impression for tonight. I'm sorry about that. You know, it's been a long night. Let me see. Oh my word, incredibly. Yeah, you're a good dude, Purple Haze. Purple Haze, all in my brain. But we'll fucking keep it rolling anyway. Keep it rolling. Claw wedge. You know, beautiful claw wedge to be made. Beautiful claw wedge. I've seen a lot of claw wedge in my time. I'm not missing cheese. It looks like it's snooze. Swedish snooze. People might take a screen grab it and go, he's lost his teeth. He looks like that Shane McGowan. That Lepretian from Ireland. The news always sounds better when read from an artist. I mean, maybe I can finish the rest in Simon Cowell. Political outsider. Despite no experience of running for office, Ms. Lightfoot won her first election for mayor by a large margin in 2019 by positioning herself as a political outsider keen to tackle corruption. Ooh, keen to tackle corruption. Great job there. During re-election campaign, she touted her records of supporting workers, increasing the minimum wage to $15 an hour. But the former prosecutor found herself assailed by rivals over the city's crime rate. Crime rose sharply during Miss Lightfoot's tenure, and opinion polls consistently put it at the top of the list of voter concerns. So that was Simon Cowell. I mean, awful. I mean, are you serious? I mean, the hair, the face, the policies, the dressing up as an exterminator of the COVID. I mean, are you serious? Is that an Iron Maiden? Yes, it is. It is. 2 minutes. So here it is. Oh, yeah. I mean, hold on. I mean, guys, come on. That didn't work out the way I wanted it to, but hey, what are you going to do about it? Will you do a Mayo newsreader? Okay, I'll do, what's her name? Katrina. There's the one from Midwest Radio who does that voice. I can't remember her name. April runoff. In the 4th of April runoff, Paul Vallis, the former superintendent of Chicago schools, will face Brandon Johnson, a Cook County commissioner. Mr. Vallis, the only white candidate in the race, was endorsed by the city's biggest police union. He's pledged to remove the current police superintendent, boost numbers, and put more cops on neighborhood beats and Chicago's transport system. Maybe I'll try and do McGregor. He got around 35% the first vote for Mr. Johnson's 20%, with Ms. Lightfoot about 3 points behind in third place. Mr. Johnson, who is black, is a former teacher and was endorsed by unions and progressive groups, including the Chicago Teachers Union. His proposed plan to fight crime includes youth programs, mental health services, and hiring more detectives to investigate murders. So that was a bit of McGregor there. You sound like every Irish correspondent. Yeah, if I do the RT voice. Miss Lightfoot's defeat makes her the city's first one-term mayor in 4 decades. She was one of 9 candidates, all Democrats, in the crowded first round of the election. Political outsider. Despite no experience of running for office, Miss Lightfoot won her first election for mayor by a large margin in 2019 by positioning herself as a political outsider keen to tackle corruption. So that's your fucking... It's like listening to the news while getting a rim job. Adam McKenna, fucking crack with you. If you can do Sligo Allen from Alan Partridge, I'll piss myself. I don't know Sligo Allen, no. Sorry about that. Is that the lad who was doing the Wolfstone song? Cunts that did it, huh? Bastards. Any word of stateside? Heard he was running a Filipino game. Oh, Martin, you don't understand, Martin. My new girlfriend. We own a restaurant together. I just need to give her 500 quid for a fridge, and we will be making millions, eh? Ask yourself a question. Where is she now? On the fucking William Butler job. That's the fucking crack. No way. That is the Krakatoa east of Jedward. I was doing a video the other day. I was going to put it up, and then I was thinking it probably needs a bit of work, but I can show you on the phone where I was at with this video I was going doing. It literally took me a few minutes to make, but where are we now? Hold on. Jedward. How do you get the full screen? Jedward. Sean and Edward. Jedward! Oh, Jedward! Simon Coward. RTE presents Jedward. Jed and Word. The Jedward brothers. Jedward. Tis me, the Hufflepuff. Jedward. Tiny Cascarina. Simon Cow. Simon Cow before and after. Why has he got a square head? Tiny Cascarina. Brendan O'Connor. Oh, I'm on a handy number. Sinead O'Connor. Voice of an angel. Wow, it's Leo Fracture. So cool. Wow. Glenn answered. Oh, wow, Glenn's coming to the party. He's so distinctly average. This is Glenn without a hat. And this is him with a fisherman's hat on. Wow. So that project hadn't been put up yet, but it's just a celebration of mediocrity, really. Yeah, so that was that. I don't see any comments in the comment section. I'm like, oh god, Corona. So I have been a bit Lewis Walls. Do you remember when Shane Ritchie was doing that? There's a man who's touched all our lives. The great Jimmy Savile. You can't find it now. It's been taken down. It's like, please take that fucking thing down. I thought he was all right. He's a proper bacon bonds too, Bob Wongan. Shane, I tell you, Shane Ritchie, his fucking parents are Irish. Same with Kat Slater, also has Irish parents. Same with I do watch EastEnders. Sometimes it's kind of it's a vicarious way of just kind of keeping a loose foothold on the culture. Right, I'm gonna fuck off this time. We're up to an hour and 53. Thank you to Ewan Mckenna. Thank you all for your very generous super chats. If you're watching this later on and you think, you know what, Martin, you do a good job, mate. You do a good job. Stick an old fucking touch into PayPal/Maloney's Digest. Or if you want to do it en masse, throw a fucking quid into it or two into the Hardy Books Patreon account. And if you have any requests or gig information, just go into Sting's Digest and be like, do you want to come and play in fucking Bradford, man? You know what I mean? Swansea, Wisconsin, Zanzibar, wherever, man. Just get in and ask, and we'll fucking make things happen. So I'm hoping to do a gig in Arizona on the 14th of April. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully, I'll get in touch. I've got to sort that out. And yeah, we'll have a good time. But listen, enjoy the rest of your weekend and take it nice and handy now tomorrow. Swenford actor. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the crack. It's been a real pleasure hanging out with you all. You're a good bunch, lovely bunch of coconuts. Thank you very much, Papa Hayes. Again, you are a good man or woman. I don't know. I assume you're a man. We'll get you over to Chicago Themis summer. Yeah, man, come over to Chicago and I'll run for mayor. I was actually half thinking about going for MEP. Fucking Ming Flanagan did it, man. And he was going to reveal all the secrets, but then he got very, very comfortable. I would enjoy this. But anyway, look, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you very much for sticking it out. You're all sound as pounds. Good luck and God bless you. Take it handy. Talk to you later. Oh.